The last question was, where did we get? We only got as far as the Capitol stand. You were arrested. They searched you in front of the, in front of everybody at the Capitol, and then they must have put you on a paddy wagon, right? Or didn't that?
Actually, what happened is
in custody.
We were in custody first up on the I guess the open area of the Capitol, and a lot of us were moving around. We were talking to each other. Some of the veterans were we were chanting and things to keep our spirits up, and so we had a chance to do that. And some people broke their bracelets. Yeah. In fact, one of the veterans did, and I said, "How did you do that?" And he said, "I went beyond pain and I broke my." So anyway, the kind of commitment and the kind of strength that a lot of people had, we just were looking to each other to keep our spirits up and to show how committed we were. But yes, I was taken to a paddy wagon, and I had the wonderful opportunity to be with 4 other women in a very small space in a paddy wagon for about 3 or 4 hours. And one of the women that was with me was in a hijab. She's a Muslim. I was with an American university student who had no ID and no money on her. So she was in a precarious position, but she seemed to be very committed. I was with another longtime activist, probably for 20, 30 years, on nuclear weapons issues, on nuclear power, on war issues. And so all these women that we were sharing our stories and trying to keep each other's spirits up. We were in a very small space with no windows. We didn't have a lot of area to move around in, so we really had to try and keep each other calm, keep each other, interested, and keep each other supporting each other. So it was great. We spent 3 hours in the paddy wagon together. And anyway, they delivered us to the central warehouse or central area where we sat in the paddy wagon for some more time. And then they started unloading the buses and the paddy wagons. I think there was about 200 people that got arrested. And finally, they took us out of the paddy wagon, and they processed each one of us very, very slowly. I think we arrived at the central processing area about 8 o'clock in the evening, and I was released at about 5 or 5:30 in the morning. So it was incredible. We were in one central room. They had the gate to the warehouse open. It was very cold on the side of where we were, and many of the people said, "Please close the gate." We tried to dialogue with the police and tell them what we were feeling, what was going on. We also had points of where we were trying to revolt because we weren't getting, I think in a matter of 4 hours they processed maybe 4 people. And so we started chanting, "Let us go." We started doing waves. We started, the Iraq veterans said, this is what democracy looks like. This is what bureaucracy looks like. And one of the Iraq veterans said, "I can't believe this organization makes the army look efficient." So we were doing all kinds of things to keep our spirits up and to show that we were resisting, even though we were always told to sit in our seats, to be quiet. And there were so many police in there that we were supposed to just be like lambs and sit quietly, but we resisted. There was at one point I really felt like we were reaching a momentum where there was really going to be something happening, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if we were actually going to just stand up and go into chaos and the police would come after us, but we did. Tensions were building. You can't put that many people in one room, and half of the room was very hot and the other room was very cold, and expect people who normally are very active and spirited people to just sit there and be intimidated and used like that. So anyway, what we did as each person was released, we clapped and did a lot of cheers so that each person who was going out the door knew that they were part of us and we supported them as they were leaving. And there was a support mechanism for many people coming out the door. Code Pink was a great organization, Iraq Veterans Against the War. There were other people who were outside to greet us, and because I didn't know where I was. I'm from Arizona. I have no idea. They didn't tell us where we were going. They didn't tell us, you know, how to get anywhere. They just said, you're out the door, you're gone. So it was great to have that kind of support. But anyway, all the different people that went out the door got their send-off. And one of the things that I did, I had a Code Pink t-shirt on, and I was fortunate in that way because as soon as people saw me getting up to get processed, they went, yay, Code Pink. And so, you know, there was lots of cheers and lots of things that, you know, people said as I was going out the door. And I turned around and I said, you know, we'll be back. So anyway, that was my experience, and that was from from being like arrested to the time that I got released. I think it was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 or 5:30 the next morning. So it was a great thing to do. It was hard at times, but I'm so glad I got to meet so many great people and to understand the commitment that we all have. There were 200 people that got arrested, but the next time it's going to be 400, it's going to be 1,000. And Iraq veterans and Code Pink are right there leading us on and fighting to stop this war and occupation in Iraq.